Welcome back to Surviving and Thriving, where we share with you the things that we have learned as we have transitioned our family from struggling to survive disease to thriving right smack dab in the midst of it, in the hopes that something that we share with you will help you, enlighten you, and encourage you as you transition your family from struggling to survive disease to thriving right smack dab in the midst of it. So, I want to talk to you about something today that's probably not a lot of fun to talk about and what a lot of people won't talk to you about, but that's what this is all about, right? Let's talk about the real stuff. If you want pretension, you're not going to get it here. You're going to have to go somewhere else. We're going to talk about, as we always do, the reality of stuff and the real stuff, the stuff that people don't even want to discuss, right? I don't even want to talk about it half the time, but I do it in the hopes that something can help you, if nothing more than to let you know it's okay and you're not the only one, right? But really to help you as you navigate and make life a little bit easier for you. So we're going to talk about it the same thing, but in a crisis mode and in a not crisis mode. Now let's talk about it in a crisis mode. When I first started off in crisis mode being in a real life or death battle in a serious 911 place that you got to get out of, right? I was in there for many years in that crisis mode. And it was a real fight for my life on multiple occasions. You know, as you've already know, on many occasions I was told I wasn't going to make it. You know, she might not make it, the next 2 weeks. She's not going to make it 4 days. She won't make it 4 hours. I've been told some of everything. And so in those crisis modes, when I first entered into a serious fight for my life, my faith was high. My belief was high. My fight was strong and it was high. Oh, they want to go outside. Just a minute. My fight was strong and I was ready for this battle. But over the years of being in a crisis mode for years and going through all the crazy, mind boggling things that I went through, that takes a wear on you, right? So my fight was strong. I did everything that I needed to do. I didn't cheat. I didn't cut. Sometimes people don't give their all and then they wonder why something didn't work for them or they're blaming someone else. I had to sit down and have a conversation with myself at the onset. And I concluded that I didn't want to be one of those. That if I was going to do this and fight this thing, I was going to go all out in it. So I went all out. I did everything I was supposed to do. I exuded the discipline that I needed to exude. If I shouldn't do it, I didn't. If I should, I did do it, right? I had the strength and the fight and the fervor to do everything, no matter how hard, how difficult, or how much I didn't like it. But over the years, that thing wore on me, right? And doubt set in, wondering and confusion set in. I would follow steps. People say, if you do this, this, and this is the result you would get. I would do this, and this for long periods of time, over years, and I still wasn't getting those results that they said you would get. So then you have to wonder, well, why me? Why is it not working for me? And everybody that sells you something got all these great testimonies, but when you follow it all the way through to a T and it doesn't happen for you, then you start looking, is it them or is it me? Because I know I did my part, right? But you get a lot of confusion and there's a lot of disappointment and there's a lot of hurt. And for me personally, because I'm an all-out person, I don't know how to go halfway. It's either all or nothing for me. I didn't let go of my fight. I wouldn't just relinquish it, right? And I refuse to let go of my faith. I refuse to let go of my belief, right? Because I know what I know. And for me, I know God is real. I know that what he's able to do and that miracles do exist. I know certain things. I couldn't even really let go of herbs and oils, even though I didn't get the exact thing that I was looking for because it was working for me. You ever had that happen? Where you might not have got what you were trying to get, but it was actually working for you and it puts you on the road to get it, even though you ain't got it yet. Well, there's a lot of disappointment there. There was a lot of doubt there and confusion there and emotions there. And what I found was I refused to let go, right? but my grip started getting weaker. Make sense to you? You know, it's kind of like you holding onto a rope and you can hold onto it tight, and then eventually you kind of loosen up that grip and that rope is easier to move through, but you still got the rope in your hand. That's what I'm talking about. My grip was a little looser, but I kept trying to hold on. But when my fight was high, I was wrapping the rope around me because I seen that, you know what, if my grip get loose, I need the rope to hold on to me, right? But I refused to let go. And there was a time, you guys, where I wanted to quit. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to live. And my husband was saying, you know, give me 15 more minutes. Fight for 15 more minutes. Don't leave me. Stay on this earth. Just give me 15 minutes. And then after that 15 minutes is up, he's like, give me 15 more. And we went through a lot, but eventually I came out of it. But what I found is this, is that I wouldn't let go of the rope, but I had a real loose grip on it. There was a time when I didn't feel like I could hold on to the rope anymore. And what I found was that the rope held me. Now, I hope you can understand that, okay? Now, that's in serious crisis mode. Now, let's talk about not being in a crisis mode, because that same similar thing can happen to you not in a crisis mode. When you've been overcoming for years, you ain't even got to overcome for years. This, whatever your period in it is long to you. A month can be too long, right? And what I found was this, is you get tired sometimes. And you have the disappointment, especially when you come out of crisis modes. There's a lot of inner confusion. There's a lot of disappointment, hurt, pain. There's soul and exhaustion, mental, physical, spiritual exhaustion. And to get through that, that's a phase. It's not going to be an event. It's a process. And to get through that can take a while. It can take years, right? Of just trying to figure out how to navigate through that and walking around feeling like you're in a shell, like you're a shell of a person, right? Because you don't really know which way to go. You don't really want to feel what you want to feel because you don't want to confront certain things, because you don't want to walk away from what you know is true, right? The other thing is, well, there's a lot that goes with that, but there's a lot of reasons that you're dealing with a lot of stuff, okay? And you feel like a shell of a person. You have a decision to make, whether to just totally let go or to keep hanging on, right? And if you choose to keep hanging on, you're going to feel like you're in a shell. And you're going to find that the discipline you had, you might have a struggle with, because you're hanging on, right? You're not in crisis mode, but you're still hanging on. And sometimes what happens in that is that our perspectives aren't clear. And when your perspective isn't clear, you can see something that looks real, looks true, right? You can touch it, you can feel it, you can sense it, but everything you're touching, feeling, and sensing is totally wrong. An example of that is, have you ever had a picture? I remember many times where we would look back at pictures, my husband and I remember specific dates and specific times pictures were taken and things were done, and specific events where I cried because I had nothing to wear. My clothes didn't fit this. I'm so fat and I look like this. And then we take these pictures and we go back and look at them. And I go, oh my gosh, I was skinny as a rail. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I was that thin, right? And my husband was like, yeah, I used to tell, I don't know what you're crying about. Why? Because my perspective was wrong. And we all have that, where we can see ourselves or see things one way and it's not really what it is. And when we look back in hindsight, we get a clear view and a clear picture and find out that our perspectives was wrong. Our sight was wrong, right? So when you're in that phase, your sights can be off because you're battle worn and you're battle torn and you're not stable and sure where you are. But you're trying to keep moving forward. You're not trying to let go. Sometimes you're not even really trying to move forward. You're just trying to hold on and not lose footing, not lose ground. Hey, girl, my puppies. Not lose ground. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm sure you do if you've ever been there. What I found is this, that even though you're in that place, that perception sometimes will tell you that, you know what, when you look at it, maybe I've quit and I think I'm still holding on and moving forward because I'm not as disciplined as I once was, because I'm not able to do the things that I once did. It's kind of hard to take all this stuff or do all this stuff. And when, you know what, I've been doing it for this many years, and yeah, it's helped me. It's helped me a lot. It's got me to a good place, but it ain't got me the breakthrough that I'm looking for, right? So you start doubting and questioning, and it makes it a little harder to be as disciplined. It makes it a little harder to fight the way that you fought, right? Your perspective is a little off. And so sometimes it seems easier to just let go because you think you've already let go. There's deception in that. The mere fact that you know you're in a shell, you got all this going on the inside, and it's a little bit of a struggle, but you're still doing whatever you can, whenever you can, right? You know, you might be slipping up on this, but you're still trying to get it right. You have bouts of when you're doing good and then bouts when you're not doing good. You still got that cry in your heart to say, hey, right? I don't want to let go. I still believe, even if it's just a little bit, right? That means that you haven't quit. That means that you haven't let go. So don't let the inner deception deceive you into thinking that what you see means that you let go and let go. You haven't let go. You know when you let go is when you all the way back and you ain't even trying to stay put or to move forward. But as long as there's that cry and as long as there's that small smidget of effort, right? A little bit of movement of the finger, you know that there's still life and you're still moving forward. Sometimes, right? You got to hold on and maybe inch forward until you can get refilled, rejuvenated, and catch your second wind. I hope y'all understand that. I hope there's something in there for you in that. But this is just the real of life, and you don't have to go through health issues to deal with that. That's just the realness of life. So when you find yourself in the modes, don't let go. Hold on to what you can, because just like in the crisis mode, what I have found is sometimes when all your grip is kind of loose and you're not even in a crisis mode now, right? But your grip is kind of loose. That sometimes, for me personally, I know that my faith, my belief held on to me when I couldn't hold on to it. I know that the Lord held on to me when I was struggling to hold on to him, but the cry of my heart was the same. Here's one more thing I want to share. There's greatness in all of us. There's the goals that we want to achieve, the things that we want to do to have a life of purpose. Greatness is in all of us. And when you're not in a crisis mode, and sometimes when you start to stable out, doesn't mean you're not fighting battle after battle. You still fighting battle after battle, but there's a little stability in it, right? And you can see now you can move forward in those purposes, in those things, towards those things, that greatness. And you hear it calling you, saying, come on, and it's showing you the way. You know what I'm talking about? It gets frustrating. And it's a place of having to make a decision of, are you gonna keep going or are you going to quit? Always choose to keep going, because that's where life is. Only thing in quit is death, y'all. That's our options, life or death. So don't quit, because it may be a death. It may be a slow death, but it's death. And you definitely want life, right? But when you see it there and saying, come on, let me show you what to do. I like it unto the experience of that when you're overcoming, unto like being in a track race, right? You have all your runners, they're in the blocks, you hear runners on your mark, right? You set, go, poof, and everybody take off running. You already know, because you're dealing with health issues, you're in that far lane. And you know that far lane is a slower lane on the curve, right? It's faster to get around the curve when you're on the inner lane. So you already know you're dealing with these health challenges. So you're in the far lane, but it's okay. You got this. You can see it. You know what you need to do. But the problem is is that you got to weed through all this opposition and this muck and mire just to make it to the blocks, where other runners can get up and just get on the blocks and they ready to run. You see greatness is calling you. You know where you need to do and where you want to go, but you got so much you got to fight through on a daily basis just to get to the starting line so that you can start going towards what you're trying to go for. Do I have answers for all of that for you? No, but I do want you to be aware of that and let you know you're not the only one. But I also want to encourage you to never quit. That if you keep making them fights to get to the starting block, and you may not be able to do a lot and run, may not even make the 100. You might only be able to go a few feet, but go a few feet every day, because those few feet add up. Fight through the muck and mire every day to get on that line, right? Because one day you'll break through. And in the process, right? I don't believe that greatness is an event. I don't believe that greatness is one thing that you do. I believe it's that process of becoming, that process of moving toward. Hope something in there was helpful for you. Remember, in all things, do you. Now I have a quick message for those that are believers in Christ Jesus, that believe that word of God. If that's not you, go ahead and go on somewhere else. But for the rest of y'all, I just want to say something. I have a plea to you for a moment. The world is in chaos, y'all. All that you see on the news is not just in the United States. This is happening in almost every country. There's rioting. People are coming up against leadership because of the virus. People are fighting Black Lives Matter all over the world. What you see in the United States is not just us. So here's my plea and my cry to you. If you're a believer in the Word of God, fast and pray. Join me in fasting and praying. Now, I'm not asking for a certain day where we come together and we just fast and pray. I'm not even going to tell you how to fast. That's between you and Jesus. That's between you and God. I'm not even asking you to do a one-day fast. I'm asking you to have a fasted lifestyle and seek God's face right now for our nation and for the world. I'm not asking you to pray Black Lives Matter. I'm not asking you to pray for the police. I'm not asking you to pray politics. I'm asking you to cry out to God and seek his face so that we can have peace and unity as a people in our country, and that our country can remain strong. Would you join me in that? I'd appreciate it. And would you pass that along? I'm going to do this little spiel for a couple weeks at the end in the hopes that somebody will join me. All right. I love y'all. Y'all have a good day. Until next time. Bye.